Hey guys, Scott Adams here. So another common question we get pretty often from newer merchants, especially if they've never used alerts or RDRs in the past, is around why it takes so long to get RDR set up, and also why isn't it one-to-one? You would think, and when I first started using it, I thought that RDR would always be 100% of Visa chargebacks. But so to answer that question first, what happens is that RDR is matching on ARN and on an exact one-to-one match, but there are some loopholes in that. The main one being that if you do partial refunds. So I don't know if you guys do that, but partial refund is where instead of refunding 100% of a transaction, you refund part of it. So maybe your customer support team is trying to save your sale by not doing a full refund, but doing a partial or kind of giving a discount, you might say, but after the purchase. This can work. It sometimes works pretty well for merchants, but the problem is it basically makes RDR not work for that transaction. So, if you're thinking of doing that, or if you are doing it, you ought to go back and look. And how often does that turn into a chargeback? Because I actually see a lot of times it does. Really depends on the merchant though. So the other question is why does it take so long to get RDR set up? So that's a multi-point question, really. There's a lot of issues with it. As everyone probably knows, right? RDR is a great solution. It does stop a vast majority of your chargebacks for Visa. And it's only Visa though. But the problem is that unlike traditional alerts where those are triggered by descriptors, which have their own problems, RDR is not. You have to set that up using what they call bin and CADEs. Now, the bin is the acquired bin, not the first six on the credit card number. And the CADE is sort of your merchant ID, but at the Visa level. Unfortunately, most of the time, your MID is not your CADE. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's your MID plus some other numbers. Sometimes it's something completely different. Unfortunately, there's no way to validate that, especially if it's a brand new merchant account, which a lot of our merchants bring us new accounts, and we try to add the CADE, and we think we have it right based on experience, patterns, etc. But it might not be. And the only way to know is to either get a chargeback or get an RDR, or we always enroll merchants in Inform too. We don't charge them, but that actually shows us fraud alerts or chargebacks. So until we get something from that system, we don't really know if it's right. So what we like to do is watch and hopefully catch if it's been a number of days, depending on the merchant's volume, after we're told it's enrolled. That's something good. If you're doing it yourself, you should always check that. The other thing we look at, and you have to remember, is that it's not an automatic process. There is no system that we go to or that you would go to if you were doing this on your own to enter the bin and CADE. We actually have to email it to verify, and then that gets acknowledged generally within minutes, but then it's in a ticket system and it has to wait for the enrollment team to actually do it, and that can take time. Plus, if it's a new account, that takes an extra back and forth that they have to tell us, hey, we couldn't confirm this, is it new? We have to tell them, yeah, it's new or not. And then sometimes also the descriptors might not match what we thought it was, which we try to get that right, but also, as you guys know, descriptors vary. So that's another reason why it can slow things down. And then it just depends on the backlog, right? How many other providers, how many other merchants have tried to enroll descriptors bin and CADEs recently? That can slow it down. So RDR is a great product, but you can't rely on it 100%, and you can't expect it to be overnight. But eventually it gets going, and then it's awesome. It's a really good product. All right, guys, that's it for today. Hope that helped. Thanks a lot.